What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Do you really think that feminism is going to be on the right side of history? I sometimes I despise having these conversations, because it doesn't look good, and I don't want to just throw it in somebody's face and go, nah, nanny, boo, boo, told you so. I really don't want to do that. But if you have any kind of, common sense to look toward the future, you're probably looking at feminism like, this is not good. This is not good. Like, the first wave, understandable. The second wave, we can see the handwriting on the wall that, there's going to be a, not just a backlash, but there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. The third wave, mostly collateral damage. And now I think it's a fourth wave, and it's like, oh, it's all collateral damage. Nothing progressive, just collateral damage on the back end. And I think when I look at it, and when I have the conversations, and men and women have the conversation, and men have the conversation, and women have the conversation, I think people are just don't want to admit that this is not going to look good in 5 years, in 10 years. This era of feminism is not going to go well in the history books. It's going to look utterly ridiculous. It's going to make no sense. People are going to think the women are nuts, and people are going to think the men are nuts for allowing the women to be this nuts. I think it's going to have a massive course correction, because I think they're going to consider society, too stupid to know when enough is enough. And what I mean by that is the family courts, those laws, the child support laws, the child custody laws. I think history is going to look back at it. The downfall of single mother-led households predominantly. I think people are going to go look back on and go, not a good. This wasn't a good idea. I think linking feminism, which was always linked anyways, to LGBT. I know y'all got other letters, but the gay community's issues, and making those two synonymous at the same time, using women and children, and mixing race, and trying to make everything intersectionality and this, that, and the third. And so if you had a problem, then I have a problem. But the double speak, and people on both sides of the fence, and double dipping in society, I think people are gonna go, you can be a minority and a majority at the same time. You can be, it doesn't make sense. You can be a double minority because of your race and your gender at the same time. It doesn't make sense. You can create a movement based on what's happening to the male gender, and then X the male gender out of being part of the movement, and then do a bunch of questionable things in the movement, and somehow, try to figure out a way to finagle that men are part of that problem. It's not going to make sense. To say that, the men are the issue of men, the wage gap, I think it's not going to make sense in history. Even though it's not making sense now, I think further along in history, people are going to look at it like, y'all didn't work the same jobs. Like, it's common sense. Like, y'all didn't go to school and do the same things. Why are you complaining about this? When it comes to the marriage rates dropping, and the birth rates dropping, and companies banking on the fact there are going to be a lot of single women in the next 10 years. because of, the collateral damage of feminism. And the idea that, you're strong and independent and you don't need anybody, basically because the society is built up. I think it's going to be on the wrong side of history. The men are abusive and men are trash campaigns and men are scum campaigns is gonna come be on the wrong side of history. The slut walk is gonna be on the wrong side of history. All of the social media footage, because that's live footage of actual people, doing really horrible things, from women towards men, and men having finally filming this stuff, and them still not necessarily going to jail or getting slaps on the wrist. I think that's going to be on the wrong side of history, and I think just like previously, they had the women who left the civil rights movement for the feminist movement, who was like, we made a mistake. You can find that rarely on film, but I think because of technology, it's going to be way more widespread, because you're starting to see some of the fallouts from Gen X now, like, I need help. And people are kind of like, no, I'm not helping you, Playboy. So I think it's only going to get worse. I think it's not going to, I don't think that modern day feminism is going to be on the right side of history whatsoever. I don't think I think the bad actually outweighs the good by a lot, and that's not being biased. That's just looking at it, just from afar. But like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch y'all in the next one. Peace.